We will also have one of the suggestions that we think is a good idea is have them highlight various city departments. What does the lift station look like? What is yeah, the engineers in the room are laughing. How does your water bill? What happens from the time it hits the meter to the city hall to, what's the process there? Trying to be more transparent and open up, I guess, improve lines of communication with the public. But also things like issue a press release if we have a significant event or if something happens, push information out as needed through Blackboard or whatnot. And so we've put some applications out there. We've had some interviews. We have not made a decision on a candidate. We wanted to wait to see what y'all's final position was. But I think this is a position of need as we grow, as we start to do more projects and more things. I think this is something that's wanted and warranted.
Thank you, Brian. Do we have a motion?
I need to say this real quick. We have a recommended starting salary of $38,500, and they would be considered FTE, a full-time employee, eligible for full benefits and everything else as a regular employee.
Do we have a motion?
I move that we create the position of communications and marketing specialist.
Do we have
with the job description as provided.
I'm sorry. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any other questions or discussion?
So, discussion.
Yes.
So are they going to be handling freedom of information requests?
That will still run through Alicia. Alicia's still the keeper of the record, and all the FOIA requests will go through Alicia. Now, that's not to say that this position may not handle some of those from time to time or supplementing or supporting documents as needed. But Alicia will still be unfortunately for her, she will still be the primary contact for all the FOIA requests.
And the second question I have is salary. Seems a little bit low.
It is. I think it is. But on the flip side of that, it's a new position. I think there's room for growth there, but we've never had one here, and I think you can always go higher, but it's hard to come down off of that.
So it sounds like this position is also going to have some business development aspects to it, or
not necessarily business development, more of. For example, if the chamber has a ribbon cutting, we would, obviously in Willow Park, they would come and be a representative of the city. Not necessarily in terms of attracting or economic development, that wouldn't be a function.
Don't be promoting Willow Park.
It would be, yes, yeah.
And now that we're going to have a hotel tax of like 100, what was that number, $103,000 a year or something?
Hot tax?
We'll have events. We have money to spend them on.
Any other discussion?
A city council meeting is an event in Willow Park.
I know, and we need to change that. It needs to be.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Item number 10, Mr. Lenore. Got to remind you, law and order starts in an hour.
Yes, sir.
Consider an act on purchasing and financing a new ladder truck for the fire department, authorizing the mayor to execute financial instrument and a resolution to authorize financing. Mr. Lenore.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Basically, this is exactly what it is. I'm asking for the purchase of a new ladder truck. I'm asking for $1.5 million to be financed on a 10-year payment of 4.29% interest. So that's going to make the payments $195, $664, and 64 cents. That'll be 2 years after the signing. It's going to take 11 months to build this fire truck, this ladder truck. So we're looking at payments in 3 years. The ladder truck is basically the pricing Reason it's high is we're having to add equipment and do a turnkey, so it's ready for service as soon as it shows up. That's adding extra radios that we did not fund for, extrication equipment, and also air packs. So this will make this ladder truck ready to go. It's a 107-foot ladder truck. It's going to help accommodate our current facilities, which are Texas Health Resources, Trinity Bible Church, Trinity Christian Academy, the Wilkes Development, and future hotels and other residential 3 stories. Any questions?
Chief, is this going to purchase through purchasing property?
Yes, it'll be through buy board.
And the facility we're building over here, is that going to be planning to house it?
Yes, sir. It's going to fit. We'll have 4-foot clearance on the front bumper and back bumper. This was pre-planned.
So once we, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Mayor. I'll ask a question.
Once we order it, it's 11 months to get.
To build it, yes, sir.
And then once we take possession of it, the payment's doesn't start until 2 years
So
after
2 years
that.
after that, yes, sir.
So it's 2 years after possession?
2
So-
years after we sign, after
Yeah, so
possession.
the first payment's actually in 3 years.
In 3 years.
So it's 13 years.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So, staffing,
Yes, sir.
where do we stand? I know, well, I already know.
We're still at 2. We have volunteers and part-timers. We have 2 personnel Monday through Friday, 24-hour shifts, 48 off. 3 administrative staffs Monday through Thursday. 2 administrative staffs on Friday, 8 to 5.
So the idea is, we'll get the fire truck in a couple of years, right? Or, in a year.
In a
right?
year. Yes, sir.
So sometime between now and then, we need to get you 3 more people.
Yes, sir, at least. 4 would be optimal.
Well, 3 was last month, remember?
Yeah, it sure was.
Welcome to negotiating with the fire department.
Maybe Garrick and I can swap off weekends. Any other questions for Mike on item number 10? Let's have a motion. Do we have a motion on item number 10?
So, one more question. Our finance here,
Yes.
guy is not here, is he?
Eric's not here, no, but I've got your numbers. What do you want to know?
Where we stand?
So it's $1.5 million. If you go through GovCap, government capital, your debt service is roughly $200,000. I'm going to recommend that we add that to the interest and sinking requirement, so it's not taken out of M&O. That would increase your interest in sinking, assuming a 1% growth, which we haven't had, but I've always assumed the worst. That'll increase your interest in sinking by about 3.5 pennies, 3 pennies. Given that the first payment's not actually due for 3 more years, that number's probably going to come down to 2.5, maybe 2.25 pennies. If you see tremendous growth in valuations that we've had over the last couple of years, it may be a net of 0. I mean, just there's really no way of gauging where you're going to be 36 months from now as far as that goes. Your debt service is $200,000. You're going to have to raise the taxes to meet at least that. Your current debt service is roughly $1.1 million. So this will bump it up to 1.3. You can also issue a certificate of obligation, which would delay the process about 30 days. The certificate of obligation has essentially it's the same functionary, except you don't have the 3-year provision of not making a payment. You start making payments immediately. We would have to put an ad in the paper. The citizens have 30 days to petition to not issue the certificate of obligation. If there's no petition, then you can issue the CO, I would say maybe the January meeting, but definitely by the February meeting. And then he can order the truck. You're looking at getting it at February of 20, at the end of 20, the beginning of 21, and you will have debt service payments in 12 months from now.
So with the staffing issue, we're going to have to roll that in at some point in time.
Yes, your staffing issue for 3 firemen is roughly $215,000. I think that,
Yes, sir.
yeah, it's about $215 for three firemen. I'm pretty steadfast that you pay for positions out of your M&O because that's what it is. It's a maintenance and operations. Again, without knowing what your valuations are and knowing what our future needs are going to be, I think you can meet that with a minimal increase in the M&O tax rate. Minimal is the big word there, though.
Right. There's your rate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? Did we have a motion yet?
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2018-13 for financing, for contracted purpose of financing ladder truck.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion or questions? All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thanks, Mike.
Congratulations, Mike.
Merry Christmas 2020.
Yeah.
Next is when
You just got 1.5 million reasons to be happy.
We're going to skip down to past item number 11 to the mayor and council member comments. The city manager and I think I've discussed with some people. The first quarter of 2019, we're going to be revisiting the I-20 overlay in the comprehensive plan. We will be updating that. I think it was 2014?
The comp plan's reaching its 5-year period.
There's been questions about it tonight. We will be addressing that first quarter of 2019, sooner if not later. That's all I have. I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas. And before we go into executive session, Mr. Grimes, do you have anything to say?
We are having our city Christmas party this Friday, so all of y'all are invited to attend. We will be closing City Hall on December 24th for Christmas Eve, and we will be closing December 31st for New Year's Eve. We will also have a meeting on December the 18th to discuss an additional P&Z item that was left off or tabled at the last P&Z. P&Z has not met on that issue yet, so we don't have a recommendation from them as such. Every time I say it's not going to be a long meeting, it ends up being a long meeting, so we're going to be here all night.
No, we're not. Okay, at this time, we're going to take a 5-minute recess, and then we'll come back and then we'll go into executive session. We'll start back at 8:20.